this video up at the very beginning of last season, of the off season, when the season first ended. I said, you go and get this girl to play the 4, and she is showing serious interest in joining the Indiana Fever. And that is one Azurá Stevens, as she took to social media and she posted this. She said, ha ha ha. Azurá, come on, girl. Come on, girl. We want you in Indiana. You talk about the perfect.
At his reaction. That is not just casual interest. That is the reaction of a fan who finally heard the news he has been waiting for all off season. And honestly, he has a good reason to be excited, because what just happened could seriously change the direction of the Indiana Fever's championship hopes. While Angel Reese was getting attention for joining the Atlanta Dream with Alicia Gray and Ryan Howard, the Fever quietly received their own big piece of news. Azura Stevens, the 6'6" stretch forward who shot 38% from 3 last season, posted on social media using laughing emojis along with a very specific hint aimed at Indiana. It did not feel random at all. It looked like a clear signal. Stevens seemed to be letting everyone know exactly where she would like to play next.
Do it all offensively, and she doesn't need to be the primary option. She don't need to be the number 2 option. She don't even need to be the number 3 option. You know why? Because she was none of those things with the LA Sparks. And by the way, for the people that are like, oh, well, the Sparks will probably keep, it's a 0%. She's not going back to LA. They're keeping Cameron Brink. You drafted Cameron Brink that high, what, number 2 overall? You didn't draft her number 2 overall to be bringing her off the bench, okay? They're going to be rolling with Rakia Jackson, Kelsey Plum, Cameron Brink, and De'Erica Hamby, okay? So that leaves as...
Here's why this situation matters more than almost any other free agency move the Fever could make. Azura Stevens is not just another available player on the market. She is exactly the type of player this roster has been missing ever since Caitlin Clark arrived. Last season, Indiana's biggest problem was not a lack of talent. The real problem was spacing on the floor. When Caitlin Clark runs a pick and roll with Aaliyah Boston, the court needs to be spread out. You need shooters who can stay on the perimeter and punish defenses that try to help inside. Natasha Howard only shot 27% from 3 last season. 27% does not stretch the defense. Instead, it clogs the paint and makes Clark's job much harder. Whenever Howard caught the ball near the elbow, defenders simply backed away from her. That allowed them to close driving lanes and collapse on Boston inside. Stevens, on the other hand, shot 38% from beyond the arc, while taking about 2.4 3-point attempts per game with the Los Angeles Sparks. The important detail is that she was not even a main option in their offense. She was usually the 3rd or 4th scoring option behind players like De'Erica Hamby, Cameron Brink before her injury, and Kia Nurse. Even without many touches, she still produced efficiently.
This is a seamless fit, putting Azurá Stevens on the Indiana Fever. It is a seamless fit, man. I'm telling you, this is the perfect situation for Azurá Stevens. And this here is courtesy of Sports Illustrated, where they talked about Azurá Stevens being one of the best fits for the Indiana Fever. Here it says, Stevens made it through the expansion draft without hearing her name called and could quickly find herself at the center of one of the few bidding wars that will actually take place in free agency. The 30-year-old...
Sports Illustrated did not just casually mention Stevens as a possible fit for Indiana. They actually listed her as one of the top targets in the entire free agency class. Her numbers clearly show why. In the 2024 season, Stevens averaged 13 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 block per game. Those are strong starting level numbers, especially on a Sparks team that finished with a record below .500. But the most impressive part of her development is her improvement as a shooter. 3 years ago, Stevens was only making 28% of her 3-point shots. Last season, she increased that number to 38%. That kind of jump is not just luck or random improvement. It shows that she worked to completely change and modernize her offensive game. She added several important shots to her skill set, including the corner 3, the pick and pop jumper, and the trailer 3 during fast breaks. These are exactly the types of shots Caitlin Clark often creates for teammates. On defense, Stevens also brings important versatility. At 6'6" with a 7-foot wingspan, she can switch onto wings, help protect the rim, and grab rebounds effectively. She does not have to be the main rim protector either, because that responsibility already belongs to Aaliyah Boston. Stevens only needs to be quick enough to guard on the perimeter and long enough to challenge shots inside.
Azurá Stevens that can space the floor. Listen, Indiana Fever, I think you need to offer a competitive amount. But that's the whole thing with this Kelsey thing. She gonna eat up so much money. Will you be able to get a Azurá and bring back Sophie and Lexi and like, will you be able to do all of that? I don't know, but we need to make a legitimate competitive offer for Azurá Stevens. I'm telling you that right now. Okay, it says 6'6", a forward who can offer some rim protection, switch onto perimeter players, crash the boards, and space the floor, could be a difference maker for several teams, Fever included.
Now it is important to look at what happened during the expansion draft because it tells us a lot about Stevens' current value around the league. Golden State chose not to select her, and Toronto also passed on the opportunity. That does not mean teams think she lacks talent. The real reason is that expansion teams expected her to become an expensive free agent, and they wanted to keep their salary cap space available for multiple different moves. This situation could actually work in Indiana's favor. The Los Angeles Sparks are almost certainly keeping Cameron Brink as a centerpiece of their future. When a team drafts a player second overall, they usually plan to build around that player, not move them to the bench. That means the Sparks' front core is likely set with Brink at the 4 and De'Erica Hamby at the 5. While Kia Nurse and Rickea Jackson play on the wings. With that lineup, there is no clear starting role left for Stevens. Because of that, Stevens now faces an important decision. She can accept less money to stay in Los Angeles as a 6th player on a rebuilding team that might struggle to make the playoffs. Or she can join the Indiana Fever, a team that sold out every single game last season and already looks ready to compete for a championship with Caitlin Clark.
She can get hot. She can defend it. She can rebound it. She can shoot it. And she does not have to be ball dominant. She does not have to be the focal point. I'm just glad that, hey, look, you see what's going on, Azurá. You see what's going on over here, Azurá. The whole world will be watching. You want you entering your prime at 30. You in your prime. You want the world watching you? Or do you want to go over there to Dallas where nobody's watching? They can't even sell out the gyms. You playing in empty gyms. You could come play every game sold out, home and away. Caitlin Clark, best show in sports. You gonna do that? Or you gonna turn that down to go somewhere where nobody's gonna watch you, where your WNBA career will fade into abyss?
It is also important to understand what Indiana can offer beyond just basketball. Last season, the Fever had the highest attendance in the entire WNBA, averaging 1,735 fans per game at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Every one of their 20 home games sold out. Even when they played on the road, arenas filled up with fans who wanted to watch Caitlin Clark. For Stevens, that means moving from playing in front of around 8,000 fans in Los Angeles to performing in packed arenas almost every night. That kind of exposure matters for more than just the atmosphere. It also creates opportunities for endorsement deals, stronger personal branding, and a bigger long-term career path. Stevens is 30 years old, which means she is still in her prime years. This is the perfect time for her to benefit from the Caitlin Clark effect while also trying to build a championship resume. Now compare that situation to Dallas, another team that may try to sign her. The Dallas Wings averaged only 7,842 fans per game last season. They are also rebuilding after trading Satou Sabali. While Dallas might have more salary cap space, they do not currently have a clear franchise superstar or immediate playoff expectations. Stevens would likely join a team that hopes to compete 2 or 3 years from now rather than right away. When you look at the full financial picture, the decision becomes clearer. Dallas or Toronto might offer a slightly higher base salary, but Indiana offers something bigger. Playing with Clark could bring endorsement opportunities, playoff bonus money, and much greater visibility. In the long run, joining the Fever could easily become the smarter investment for Stevens' career.